I started in Ecuador due to a low player count in the region. At the beginning, I focused on developing mines so I could trade resources and afford tanks. Since Ecuador didn't have any resources of its own to, produce things and shit. Just stabilizing the country took until 2022. Once my nation was stable, I began to produce the most powerful tanks I had been researching. My goal was to invade Peru and take their resources to build a powerful trade empire. However, Peru entrenched troops destroyed my first wave of tanks, so I changed my strategy. I sent half of the second wave around their defenses to capture land, while my highly trained tank corps fought their entrenched troops, taking them. My tanks ended up destroying tens of thousands of troops. Peru's land was difficult to navigate, so I trained multiple infantry units to capture territory faster. After I secured the coastal area, my tanks moved along the coastal region. I attempted to push into the jungle, but the Peru's terrain completely devastated my tanks. I had to push them back and leave the jungle for later. Instead, I rotated my tank units along the coast, slowly capturing more cities. Infantry followed behind to occupy their territories while the new troops were trained and sent deeper into Peru. Eventually, I discovered a massive force, nearly 400,000 troops, defending the capital. To rig them, I sent a frigate to bombard their forces, and I used artillery to destroy another isolated jungle city. So I developed my cities and expanded my army. I captured the jungle cities to the right of us. Then I launched a simultaneous attack on both cities. We successfully captured the capital, but the attack on the other city failed. So I sent tanks into the dense jungles to finish off the job. A small detachment was sent to the southern coastal region to eliminate the remaining Peruvian forces and speed up the invasion. After several years of fighting, the northern front was completely captured. Only a few jungle cities remained in the south. At this point, I justified war against Colombia. I ended the war with Peru, but and deliberately left their infrastructure destroyed so they would remain weak. When the war with Colombia began, my tanks and artillery quickly captured the border cities. I pushed the port cities and surrounded a heavily fortified city in the center. After bombing it, next I justified war with Jamaica. My forces pushed north, capturing city after city. At their capital, they had over 400,000 troops, so I sent multiple artilleries to bomb them and weaken their defenses, while I captured surrounding cities. My tanks then captured their northern fort, cutting them off from reinforcements. After a long campaign, thousands of tanks finally invaded the capital. Artillery bombarded their mostly populated cities, while bombarded softened up the remaining troops. Soon the cities fell. I declared war with Peru again to capture the last remaining territories and finally finish off their nation in arms. At that time, my military captured the remaining Colombian cities, while my forces eliminated the last Peruvian resistance. After winning the two-front war, I annexed their territories, and my economy exploded with cash. Following a short period of peace, I declared war with Bolivia. My armies quickly pushed through the southern region, capturing cities and destroying their weak military. My tank corps had no troubles defeating their forces, but reaching some of their cities were difficult due to the jungle. My tanks struggled to go through the terrain. I eventually captured half of their cities. I then declared war on Colombia again, sending 800 tanks to crush their forces. Their military was quickly destroyed. Meanwhile, the global superpowers were destroying each other. The Empire of Japan and I cannot pronounce that, but the AKKAD, nigga, put that shit on chat.
Akkadian
I mean, put that shit
Empire.
on the screen, you feel me? Empire were locked in a nuclear war. If Japan collapsed, America would be open for conquest. Jamaica and Bolivia eventually collapsed, and I annexed Jamaica, Santa Cruz, and Bolivia at the same time. Soon after, I declared war on Cayman Islands, which was a fucking cut off of Jamaica because they collapsed and shit. Um, and seized their only cities. Then I attacked Amazonia, Chile, and Cuba, launching another three-front war. My forces quickly pushed through Amazonia, sending troops deep into their terrain, while a massive army invaded Chile. Slowly, all three nations began falling. Meanwhile, Sweden, the only actual player left, because the other two big empires nuked each other, and then the players left. You feel me? The only other player left has begun nuking NPC nations. I annexed Amazonia and began to prepare to attack the new collapsing America for diamonds. In Chile, I cut off the capital from the rest of the cities. and captured them one by one. Offshore, thousands of my troops launched invasions on multiple fronts. Cuba eventually fell, so I declared war on Haiti. My troops landed on the western front of the island and advanced eastwards, capturing cities with minimal resistance. After I declared war with French and again the French Gunner, the French I can't say that shit. The French Gunner,
Guiana.
you feel me? It's Gunner, but it's French. Well, my tanks finished off Haiti's army, while infantry secured the terrain. While infantry secured territory. Rather. Haiti quickly collapsed and annexed the nations. Next came Dominican Republic, Ghana, Chile, territories that had broken away. One by one, they were annexed into my empire. Then I declared war on Australia for its diamonds and launched another war against California. California easily destroyed my invasion force, but in Australia, my armies gained a large foothold and pushed southward. However, after decades of war, my empire was beginning to collapse internally. Stability was falling, corruption was rising, and I was slowly losing money. 40 years of conquest had caught up to me. After annexing Australia, I sold most of my military to stabilize my economy. I sold goods and slowly reduced the corruption until my nation finally started making money again. Peace had finally come, but that peace didn't last long. The only other remaining player in the world had been watching everything. While I had spent decades conquering nations, he had been building something else entirely, nuclear weapons. Without warning, he declared war. Seconds later, nuclear missiles struck every city in my empire, from Cuba to my mainland cities to Australia to everything. Everything was destroyed. My stability collapsed instantly, and that was my entire country fall apart. Hey, Monica, if you follow the video, I'm gonna need you to leave a like, a sub, and a comment. Fuck you. Comment, fuck Sweden.
She left her